Hello and welcome everyone to another edition of Coach's Corner. As always, our weekly coaches show. We sit down with the architect of Albany football, Bob Ford. And Coach, let's jump right into it. This past week, you played one of the best teams in the country, a top 10 team in the Towson Tigers came in here. What were your overall impressions from the game?
I was very impressed with them. They were the most physical football team we have ever played. They played very, very hard. They were tough kids. They're a good football team. They were ranked sixth in the nation, I think, coming into the game, and we did nothing to discourage that ranking. We are getting better. I know it was difficult to show that against Towson, but we are getting better. We're still guilty of giving up what I call the big play. We gave up two huge runs, and then we gave up two huge passes. But other than that, I thought we played fairly decent defense. We moved the ball well at times, and we played very well in the kicking game against a real good football team. So we're making progress, and I'm proud of the kids.
Coach, your bye weeks comes later in the year this time around. What's the overall health of your club?
Well, Sunday after we finished the Towson ball game, we have training room hours on Sunday. I went down there. I thought I was in a MASH unit. We had so many kids in there. Michael Sen, our freshman starting offensive guard, is down and will probably miss maybe 4 or 5 weeks. They thought he had a broken clavicle. X-ray showed that is not true, but it may be something in the shoulder, and he's in a sling right now, so we'll probably miss him for a period of time. Other than that, most of the other injuries, I think, will recuperate during the week off, and then we'll be ready to go the following week.
Coach, before the season, I remember asking you, hey, who's a Great Dane that we may not know by name, but by season's end, we would be impressed by them. Who are the guys as you go into the bye week that have really raised an eyebrow on your staff?
Well, I think Michael Sen, our freshman offensive guard, it is difficult to start on any college team as a freshman. It is extremely difficult to start as an offensive lineman because the looks are so much different than high school, and they come at you so quickly. But I think Michael Sen has done an excellent job. Another guy on our offensive unit is Jake Meek. I think anytime Jake touches the football, our staff feels confidence, and our squad feels confident in him. He's a winner in every sense of the word. He's exciting to watch. He has great quickness and agility, and we've run 3 straight weeks. We've run fake punts, right. and Jake has materialized on all of them. I think on our defensive side of the unit, Christian Dorsey, an inside linebacker from Somerset, New Jersey, has played very well. In fact, he's sort of the core of our linebacking unit right now. And Zach Troutman, a defensive tackle, I think Coach Bannigan's done a great job of bringing him along. He's playing quite a bit, and he's got great quickness.
Coach, I have to ask you about the fake punt. Whose calls are those? Is that something that Ryan McCarthy puts in your ear, or vice versa? But it's been tremendous.
Yeah, Ryan does not want anything to do with the kicking game, and that's okay with me. It's usually we will look at the films from the previous games and try to determine what they want to do with their punt return unit. And some teams will say, we're going to defend the fake at all costs. Well, if you're going to defend the fake at all costs, you're not going to rush the punter. So obviously you don't have the fakes then, but some teams will say, no, we're going to go after the punter, see if we can block a kick, or see if we can force a bad punt. Well, when they do those things, they expose themselves for fakes. Now, the good thing about a fake is you can hit a big play. The bad thing about a fake is you sometimes it'll backfire on you, and then you don't have great field position. But we've run 3 of them the last 3 weeks, and they've all been successful. And Jake Meek did a pretty good job with the 2 of them, and then Kevin Chillis, of course, took the one down to James Madison on a reverse, which also pointed out the team speed in the CAA as opposed to the conference we were in the last few years.
Coach, have you had any time to look ahead to Richmond at that film or at all, or are you guys just taking it slow into the bye?
Well, we're taking what we decided we're doing this week is to step back to square one, go back and emphasize the fundamentals, and make sure we're fundamentally sound. I think the game still comes down to blocking and tackling, If you can do those things, you've got a fighting chance of being in football games. The other thing we're trying to emphasize, there's some statistical things that dictate whether or not you're going to win or lose. One is turnovers. We are in the minus column. We're not in the plus. So in other words, we're not taking the ball away from them enough times, and we're giving it up to them too many times. The second is foolish penalties. We had 11 Saturday. Towson, in all honesty, didn't need that amount of help. They could have done it with us with no penalties. But giving them 11 kept their drives alive and shortened our drives up. And then the third thing is you cannot give up big plays, and you've got to get some yourself. So those are some things that we're trying to emphasize and hammer this week.
Okay, thanks for your time, Coach.
You're welcome, Zach.
All right, that'll do it for this week's edition of Coach's Corner. As always, you can catch us next week as we look ahead to Richmond and the rest of the CAA schedule. As always, for Coach Ford, I'm Zach By. Hope to catch you next time.
Sorry, Zach.